Because I got to hang out with him when I lived in Europe. Very, very fortunate. He was a beautiful soul. That was really cool. There's a lot of potential here to, I want to see you too. I want to see the whites of your eyes. Yeah, sit. To do even more with what you have and what you already have together, because it's really nice. It feels like a band. That's the first important thing. You guys have a really good bass player. You should also thank him because he has a really good time. Yeah.
See, I told you.
Really, really, and his time is keeping everything from kind of slowing down or speeding up, which is, speeding up can actually be kind of fun. Don't be afraid of being so rock solid that you can't give a little to in that way, but really makes it feel all super smooth. Is that great? Do you play acoustic as well? No. Okay. That's okay. No, it's beautiful. And now what I want you two to work on is your hookup. More. So you're kind of spoiled because he's got such great time and he's really smooth. Sometimes what you're doing, especially on the swing stuff, is a little hard to feel and nebulous. So I put some notes on the paper. I'm not going to get into a bunch of stuff, but some things for you to check out, especially Mel Lewis. If you haven't checked out Mel Lewis, he's someone to check out. The first tune you guys did, the more modal stuff, I think I want to address that as far as what you can do as a group to really develop things. You tried, like a couple times you would set up some space, and then you didn't really do it anymore. Like you were kind of getting into it with rhythm section. Do more of that. Like creating a hit, making a stop, and then a variation on those hits. That's the secret. That's what all the cats are doing in the moment. It's not like, you can plan these things.
So what do you think?
You want to have an arsenal of things that you can dig into based on what's happening now and now and now. All right, so the next time you play, don't worry about getting lost or speeding up or slowing down. You were off by a couple bars here and there. That's actually where the listening level goes up, if you're willing. You go, oh, that doesn't feel right. That feels funny. Where am I going? I played 6 bars on the bridge instead of 8. And that's okay. That's where you find that's where Miles found his magic. Was those notes that were supposed to be wrong, or those beats that were kind of like, searching, bam. So really as a team, come together and take some risks. The thing you'll have to do that is look at each other more. Eye contact, right? Good old eye contact. If you can look at each other, it will affirm those decisions and you will have more fun with it. Okay? So just a little nod like, and then you have to answer. You guys have to get also a little more involved. I know you want to stay, you probably have been told this and you're doing it. Just not get in the way, because there's 3 comping instruments, but there's a lot of possibilities there. There's a lot of room for more than one person to be adding to those modal, especially the modal situations where you're playing funky, Maybe not even a rhythm guitar thing, maybe something with the horns, right? You guys start figuring out some kind of cool lines. You got so much vocabulary in that area, I can tell, from listening to funky and hip-hoppy music and all this stuff going on. Why not? Right? Why not try it? Over D Dorian, if you really know the crap out of D Dorian. Going up a half step on the bridge, correct? That's something that you have to also both, especially the horn players and guitar players, have to be really, just like any note you hear in your head could be the note that starts this idea that turns into this orchestration of support ideas, not soloist ideas. So when someone is really blowing and you can get behind them and support them, you can play the tune for an hour and never get boring. 2 hours. So one of the things I put on the sheet there, if you can read my messy writing, it says that check out the Cellar Door sessions. Miles Davis, Cellar Door. Anybody checked it out? No, I can tell. When you do, you're going to go, holy expletive. That's a good idea, because that's the music that I find that spirit of that band it'll fit what you're doing here with this many voices. And you guys will get into a real good discussion, I think, about the elements involved, the creativity that can happen with just a cool bass line and this bass that can create. Even though you're not exactly playing the same thing every time, you're still definitely playing the tune. Play the tune. Don't not play the tune. So one way to play the tune is to learn a bunch of different versions. You know, Google every possible version of So What, and play along with those. And I put some stuff on there too, it's people for you to play along with, just to work on that ride. Like, try not to swish around at all. Just really, pick a spot and stick to it. Just stick to it for a while. So playing along with some records will be amazing. Like, really just ride some by the nose. And then you can add the bass drum. And then you can add your hi-hat. Yeah. Do you have any questions for me? Yes.
When you solo, or when you're playing, and it's sounding really good, and you're feeling it, how do you keep from becoming disoriented? That happens to me a lot.
His question is, how do I keep from becoming disoriented when I get really into the heat of the moment? I go to a really deep space of listening where I'm still keeping track of the melody and the form. I was terrible at math, so jazz kind of freaked me out. At first I was like, 6 bars and 8 bars, and then a hit on the end, 4, and then all these chord changes with these crazy numbers on them. But once you've internalized it, the way you guys are internalizing these tunes, then you have to go for it. And then when you get lost, or when you feel like you're not sure where you are, you take a breath for a second, and then the band is like, we got it, man, we got you, here you go. They set it up, but you still can't rely on them. You have to be able to do it on your own. So one thing I would do if I was a bass player, I'm not, but I would play through the tunes as if soloing over them with the metronome, and record myself and see if I can turn it around anymore. See if you can hear the changes while I'm soloing. And then maybe do the opposite, just bass lines, but super fast over So What. And see if you can really hear, there's the bridge, definitely there. Oh no, maybe it was a little vague. Maybe I need to work on my, 8-bar phrases or 16-bar phrases of D, Dorian, and different variations on them, so that when you land there on the bridge, it's like, whoa, clear as a bell. And the same thing with the drums. The drums have to be singing the changes and know the melody. They can't just count. Here's the bars, oh, here's the next one. No, it's got to be deeply ingrained. So for me, I don't really get lost as much as I used to, because I slow everything down when I practice. I slow it way down, and then I listen and I sing and I do everything possible. I compose over these tunes that I'm learning to play over, whether they're crazy 7/8 grooves or weird Phrygian modes or very involved harmony. I'm still taking a lot of time. I'll sit at the piano and explore them, and then I'll get up on the trumpet and I'll play around everything possible that relates to that song. It's just about the song, So you guys are playing songs that are within your reach. Now it's time to learn more tunes, and so you have more references. So that's one thing I wanted to say to you too, is everybody just start, all these songs you've been hearing the last few days at the conference, keep a notepad, a list of, man, I gotta learn that one. You don't have to just learn giant steps. You have to learn some melodies. Melodies are so important. Without melodies, it's kind of hard to make sense of all this stuff. It just looks like a bunch of meaningless scales and modes. So really find the tune and the melody, and how the melody fits the chords. And if everybody's internalizing that and singing it, you can do it in any groove, in any meter. You can switch feels in the middle of the tune, Because you guys have a really, like I said, you have a really good time feeling. Like it's like, I'm going to do so much more with this. But somebody has to initiate it. It's not going to be me, I'm just sitting there listening. But if I was on stage, we might throw you a couple breadcrumbs here and there and see what happens, and see if it'll make things fall apart or make things come together even more. It should do the latter, and create a feeling of like, whoa, that was, I don't know what that was, but that was cool. But you're going to have to take some more risks and really get into all of it all the time. Be in the tune all the time. That's another part of the focus. Like, I really think about this space here, this third eye. Where's my focus? And is it all this other stuff? I have to think about chops. They get sore or get tired. But if I think about that, then I'm thinking about my chops being tired, right? That's not going to help. So why don't I just go into a moment of concentration and go, okay, I'm here, the music's around me, my pals are here, we want to make good sounds, and let's go for it. So that'll also help you guys find some dynamics, right? Things seem to get sort of the same level on each tune. So I want to hear you go to the sky with the level, and then bring it back down. That you can totally do. You have a lot of power on the drums too. Now, what's going to happen is when you really explode, you're going to have to really keep track of the bass drum and the ride, and how are you going to do the right fill that is not so busy that the fill like goes. It's more like something that fits, that really lines up the tune and the band, or if it's the first tune. So think of how you can create space, but still have the feeling of the tune. And I've played that tune where it feels like the whole form is just one bar. The whole entire tune is just one bar long because everyone's just letting it go so spacey, but it's still there. The tune is still there, the form is still there. And then there's that listening thing where you can go, all right, let's move to the next place. Cool. I see you guys are going, little ideas going off all over the place.
I have a question, Ingrid. They took a lot fewer chances today because of it's a performance than they do when they're playing. So how do you get in that place where you can go ahead and take a chance when you know you're on the spot?
Double espresso.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's a whole other life lesson. You know, I used to get really, really nervous. I didn't play anywhere near my potential when I was in my 20s, 30s, early 40s.
Yeah. Because this is like, except for a wedding and a New Year's Eve gig and the final at the end of our improv class, this is their first performance.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Oh man, that's happening. Well, now you have to just play more. In fact,
Yeah.
do you want to say something, Dan? And then maybe we can play the first tune and I can jam with you on it?
Oh, cool.
Would that be okay? Okay. I don't want to take all Dan's time though.